Hey guys, welcome to the channel Rockin' the Country. I'm Don. This is part 2 of the George Jones documentary, basically. And George Woodruff made a gift to the channel for me to do this hour-long special, basically, and break it up into 4 or 5 parts. And I'm pretty sure I can get it done in 4, but we're going to see. It might have to extend into 5. Nonetheless, this is part 2. So George, thank you for this gift, for this education, for the background info on the possum. And let's just get into it. We left off on the last one with, was it the Louisiana Hayride? I'm pretty sure. All right, here we go.
All roads led to Shreveport, and George was soon on the bill of the prestigious Louisiana Hayride, the grooming ground for Nashville-bound performers. It was on the Hayride that George Jones met and played with Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash.
We became friends the first night we worked together. He was that kind of man. I felt like I'd known him all my life. About the second time that I saw him there, he invited me to go home and spend the weekend with him in Beaumont. So we left Shreveport and went from Shreveport to Beaumont after the hayride that night. And I remember the songs we sang and the things George was into. George had an attitude about life and about things like that was awfully unburdening. Be depressed or down about the night we just passed together, and he'd come up with a joke about it, you know, and laugh about how bad he felt. And I guess George is one of the first people I ever learned from to laugh through my pain, and especially if that pain is self-inflicted, don't take yourself serious, you know.
Back in those days, George, you couldn't tell what that little bastard was liable to do.
He got out in West Texas, and he got in a scrape out there, and they threw him in the cooler for overnight, and Pappy Daly had to get him out and brought him over to Houston, and George was needing some work and needing some money, and he got him a gig for $2,500, I believe it was.
Wow.
So George did the gig and then got on a party and came in to see Pappy the next day and needing some money. And Pappy said, well, George, you just made $2,500, but I talked to some of the guys you were partying with, and they said you went and flushed it down the toilet. He says, Pappy, that's a damn lie. It wasn't the $1,200.
Oh, my God.
More important than money to George was the chance of a lifetime to appear on the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville's Ryman Auditorium.
Well, that name, Grand Ole Opry, means so very much. It's so much prestige to it. When we were coming along, me, George Jones, at that period, the Grand Ole Opry was like Hollywood to the actor.
Yeah.
And once you reached the Grand Ole Opry, you were well on your way.
I was just so nervous. This was the biggest thing that could ever happen to anybody in the world. And I was just shaking. I mean, just truly shaking all over. And Dickens and Morgan was trying to calm me down, and they wasn't going to let me play my guitar because I didn't belong to the local here. But one or the other, poked that guitar right in my hand and said, here, we'll take responsibility. You just get on the stage.
Friends and neighbors, a big Grand Ole Opry welcome for his first appearance on this stage. Let's hear it for George Jones.
Oh, you said you was my baby. Now I know that you're my baby, but it seems to me that you've got roving eyes. If you want to be
I went out to do what I thought was a big hit at the time, you know. You Gotta Be My Baby, I think it was. And I thought I was doing pretty good, you know, and I was waiting for him to give me a hand, and I got a few little claps, you know. Well, I said, well, I'm glad to be over there anyhow.
Hi out there, and welcome to the Ozark Mountains of Missouri. We're about to have another country music jubilee starring Red Foley. A young recording star that a lot of you folks have been kind of sort of nudging us along to get on our show is here with us tonight. A nice welcome, please, for George Jones. George, where are you, huh? Oh, here you are, over here on the side.
Look at the flat top as
Red,
well.
thank you very much. George, you're really plowing a real wide furrow in this business these days for a fellow so young. But right now, let's hear one of those tunes that you wrote and sort of kept for yourself instead of writing and letting somebody else record all your songs. One you have on Mercury Records now. What's the name of it, right?
That's, I expect you're talking about the one called Into My Arms Again. Right?
That's it, boy.
As the decade drew to a close, there was a change in George. His voice had grown deeper, and his vocal style had matured and become distinctly his own.
Yep.
The music from the honky-tonk, the lonely songs they play, coming through my window, 'cause I live not far away. They're tempting me to come back to the things we used to do. But the honky-tonks and lonely songs I left behind when I left.
Love this old footage.
He never had to be taught to sing from the heart. George knew no other way.
The way he can perform it, the way he does it with his voice, the type of voice that I use, and then drops into that deep baritone bass voice. It's just remarkable how he can do those things, and I wished I could do them. I don't know anyone else that can do that.
And come away from the honky-tonk, back into my arms again. Oh, won't you come away from
Earl
the
might be able to.
honky-tonk, back into my arms again.
Through the 60s, George and I, both of us, we heated up pretty good, and we toured a lot together. I remember this one time in Regina, Saskatchewan. There was just the two of us on the show, and we was always arguing about who was going to open the show and who was going to close it. And
I said, you go on every night last. Why can't I go on, be the star tonight? Why can't I go on last? And no, George, you got to go on first again tonight.
This was when Buck was really hot, you know, and had these #1s right after the other.
And I said, okay, when I get through out there tonight, you come watch my show. And I said, you come to the curtain there at the side and you watch my show. And I said, Buck, when I get through tonight, you ain't going to want to even go out there.
George got drunk.
Uh-oh.
And walked out on the stage. He was having Buck the headline, right? He opened up. And he walked out on the stage and done Buck's show.
I didn't sing on one of my songs. I sang his...
Oh my God, that is so ballsy. Oh, I love that prank, man. Oh, I don't know how risky that would have been. That could have been a career killer, but it can't. It's one of the unbelievable. I can't believe he did that. Good God.
I did his whole show.
And he came off of the stage, and he looked over me and he said, "It's your turn." I won't ever forget that.
How could
Well,
you?
in North Carolina, way back in the hill, lived my old pappy, and he had him still. He brewed a white lightning till the sun went down. Then he'd fill him a jug and he'd pass it around. Mighty, mighty pleasing, Pappy's corn squeezing. Ooh, white lightning. Well, a G-men team and a revenues too, searching for a place where he made his brew. They were looking, trying to book him, but my pappy kept a cooking. Ooh, white lightning.
We had some great times together. I toured with George as much as I did anybody else in the earlier years, and we toured together all the way from Washington State to Nova Scotia to South Texas.
And we traveled many, many, many miles, cramped up like that, and usually most every date was a drive on that night.
We would work the long tours. Back then you'd go out and sometimes work 15 to 20 days at a time.
When you're on the road, you don't eat right, you don't sleep right, and this keeps your body dragged out.
White light.
We were in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 34 below zero, and that place was sold out, and they were trying to put all the instruments in the car, and they all got frostbitten noses and ears, and I sure do remember it. I don't know, I think when they woke up the next morning, I don't know whether they remembered it too well or not.
Those long tours like that are over, but it was a lot of fun. It was what I like to call the singing 60s.
Look, and he drank it on down, and I heard him a moaning as he hit the ground. Mighty, mighty pleasing, your Baptist corn squeezing. Ooh, what lightning.
After 5 years of grinding tours, George is back home in Beaumont with his second wife, Shirley, and their 2 sons. Looking for his next hit, he wanders into the studio of ex-Sun Records producer Jack Clement.
He dropped by one day, and, we'd drifted back to the control room, and I had a tape on it by Dickie Lee singing it, who wrote it, but the melody was a little different. He'd written that last line, "She thinks I still care." Boy, I flipped, I said, golly, let me have this thing. But I thought that melody might be a little bit too popish, so I sung it for him, a little different. She thinks I still care. 'Cause I do, folks.
Just because I ask a friend about her, just because I spoke her name somewhere, just because I rang her number by mistake today, she thinks I still care. Just because I haunt the same old places where the memory of her lingers everywhere. Just because I'm not the happy guy I used to be, she thinks I still care.
I gotta see what that producer just said about how George wanted this song, but the melody was in the end, and the producer thought it was a little too popish, so he didn't want George to have it sung the way the original songwriter had it. This is why I keep pointing to, I pointed out so often when I'm doing reactions about there was nothing on the page there. Some of these lyrics just astound me because turns of phrases or what have you. There was nothing there. But what we hear in a 3-minute song is the product of so many people's thought, input, instrumental arrangements. Should we bring in harmony? Should we not? If so, who, how many, female, male, when, come in, go out? How should it be sung? And I just love getting this insight into even the top shelf artists. I mean, that's partly why they're top shelf, because they do put a lot of thought into it. They do have good people around them, and it doesn't always work. I mean, I think, let's put it this way. I mean, the thinking isn't always right because we're human beings. It doesn't always work. It's a dynamic system in which everything takes place, but certainly the music industry is no exception to that. And the arts. But the Allman Brothers, I think Rambling Man, I think that was a B-side of a 45. I don't know what the A-side was, but I think it was a B-side. They didn't think it was going to be that big of a hit. This is the story as I understood it back in the day. And it turned out to be their biggest hit. So it's like you can think something's going to work and it doesn't. You could think something's not going to work and it resonates for some reason. All right, here we go.
I've always tried to be versatile. I've always tried to do up-tempos and novelties and ballads.
George also records We Must Have Been Out of Our Minds, a groundbreaking hit duet with singer Melba Montgomery.
He was the #1 artist at that time, and I was so excited just getting to meet him and to think I might get to record with him. And I sang the song for him in person, just me and my guitar, and he right away, he said, I love that. Said, I think we can do that.
I think it's what makes George who he is, because he knows a song when he hears one.
George Jones could smell a hit plumb across town.
I feel tears welling up, cold and deep inside, like my heart's from a big bridge, and the
short and painful that I may never shake. You might say that I was taking it hard when she wrote me off with the call. But don't you wager that I'll hide sorrow when I'm a brick right down in the ball. Well, the race is on and here comes pride in the back.
In the mid-'60s, there's a whole new generation listening to their radios like George had done in his youth. They're also dreaming of the life of a country singer. George Jones and hits like The Race Is On become their inspiration.
Huge, huge record. And I remember hearing that song on WCKY in Cincinnati, Ohio when I was a little boy. And immediately became a George Jones fan.
When I got interested in country music, it was '64. I was listening to a lot of Hank Williams and George Jones, Ernest Tubb, people like that. But it used to make me mad. Every time I heard George Jones songs, I couldn't sing like George, you know.
I would have been a kid. I don't remember how old I was when I first heard George, you know. I would have been a kid. I started singing, of course, when I was 8 years old, and I was singing some of George's songs. I'm sure one of his would have been among some of the first songs that I learned. And I liked him, you know, as I got old enough to understand what was going on. George has always been one of my favorites.
George had become one of country music's hottest stars. He kept a schedule of concert dates that often saw him away from home 250 nights a year.
Wow.
George turned to whiskey, pills, and the ever-available honky-tonk angels to ease his world-weary body and soul. Behind the scenes, Pappy Daly was pushing George's career through an ever-increasing list of record deals.
Well, we took him to Mercury, and he became the artist for their country division, and then he took him to United Artists, and he was the country division at United Artists. And then he took him to Music Corps, and he was the country music division at Music Corps. And so a lot of people have been riding on old George.
By the time Tammy Wynette walked into George's life, she was already an established star.
Something warm to cling to when nights are cold and lonely. Stand by your man.
1968 was the year of Tammy's greatest success, and George had suddenly taken more than a passing fancy to her. Tammy is also locked into an unhappy marriage. And one night, George accepts a dinner invitation from Tammy and her husband. Like a white knight on his charger, George Jones sweeps Tammy up and carries her off.
Uh-oh. So I went over there and I had a few drinks, and he called her a bad name, and I called him down on it and turned his table upside down. It's a wonder he had to kill me.
When they left the house that night together, a relationship began that would be the talk of the country music community for years to come. As a couple, they were inseparable, and George pays out an exorbitant sum of money to his own record company so that he can break his contract and record with Tammy and her producer Billy Sherrill on the CBS label. Despite a shaky start, George and Billy's relationship will far outlast George and Tammy's.
We were both scared to death. I was scared of him, and he said he was scared of me.
Until I got used, you know, to know Billy, and Billy got to know me, and he got to know my feelings that I wanted to do strictly country arrangements and really do the, what they call today, true country or hardcore country.
I think all I did was change the instrumentation around him. I don't think he's ever changed at all. I did ask him to start trying to sing lower in lower keys because his old records, he's really, really high, you know, and kind of annoying to me.
But as soon as he learned me and I learned him a little more and we was able to communicate, it all came about and it worked out fine.
In a pawn shop in Chicago on a sunny summer day, a couple gazes at the wedding rings there on display.
She smiles and nods her head as he says, honey, that's for you. It's not much, but it's the best that I do.
George and Tammy were married in February of 1969, and through the 70s, the Burton and Taylor of country music continually topped the charts.
We had gobs of hits together and big albums, and we were nominated every year, and we never won. Never won one award together.
And he would drive Tammy up the wall. He would never do anything twice the same way. So we'd usually end up him doing his part, and then after he leaves, she overdubs her part where she can harmonize with him.
In spite of the appearance of domestic bliss and the birth of their daughter Tamala Georgette, all was not well behind the scenes. By 1974, under the strain of George's bouts of drunkenness, their married life was coming to an end.
I'm not putting any blame on Tammy. The only, if I have any blame or feelings towards her at all, I don't think she tried to understand me and help me to understand her and the things going on about us. I think she took the quick way out.
Ooh, I'm going to leave it there. Yikes. This is the background information. And of course, like as a life and relationship coach, I hear this and I'm like, okay, is George rationalizing and all that stuff? But yeah, I like getting the backstory on the artists and just sort of like the history. I love hearing from the producers and the musicians and all that. So GW, George Woodruff, who happens to be George Jones's worldwide #1 fan, that is certified. We actually I should start getting like what do you call them? Like awards or plaques or something like that signify this so you can hang them up. We've already got the music ambassador to Estill County recognized, Marlene McKinney, so we may have to go further than that in the new year. All right, guys, that's part 2, and I'll see you on part 3. I'll see you on other videos too. Have a wonderful day. Happy New Year, and keep rocking the country.
The night we just passed together, and he had come up with a joke about it, you know, and laugh about how bad he felt. And I guess George is one of the first people I ever learned from to laugh through my pain.